What's up, YouTube? This is Marcus here with Kettlebell Kings. We're going to be doing a full body beginner conditioning workout. Oh, start now. There we go. I need like 8 arms for this. What's up? This is Marcus here for today's full body conditioning workout. So it's going to be beginner, but there's still going to be a few unique movements. I'm going to add in some rotation, a couple fun things, fun combos. So it's not necessarily a big questions on either platform. I'll help you out at the end of it, but we'll start off with a quick warm up and then we'll get right into it. I love seeing where you all are from, so feel free to drop that in the chat. I'm here in Southern California. I was going to say sunny, but that's just implied, even though I still said it. Here we are. All right, so we'll start off with a quick warm up. If you don't have anything, that's totally fine. We're just going to do a little bit of joint shoulders, warm up the back, and just get ourselves nice and primed for today's session. So for today's session, you're just going to need something relatively light. We're going to be going for some time sets here, and I'm going to make it a little bit fun, a little dynamic, but I'll give you some alternatives, and then how you can make it a little bit more advanced if you are used to the kettlebell training. All right, so let's stand nice and tall. Let's just talk about posture as we get into this. So when we're cleaning, when we're pressing, when we're squatting, I always want you to maintain that diaphragmatic breath. I want you to maintain that tension throughout your torso to keep yourself nice and stable. So whether you're hinging, you're rotating, you're pressing, you're always thinking, how can I maintain that tension? So what tends to happen, you've heard this a lot, like break your core, breathe behind the shield. And the reason for that is we just want to balance the overall load. So if I'm swinging or deadlifting and putting a lot of pressure on my lower back, I want to maximize that tension on the front side to balance that out. Same if I'm in a tall position, I'm pressing, I want to keep that tension to keep myself nice and stable to avoid hyperextending or putting too much pressure, again, on my lower back. So let's just start off with some breath work, shoulders down, nice tall position here. Imagine there's a rope tying yourself to the ceiling in a non-dark way. Breathe in through your belly and breathe out. Let's just get some nice diaphragmatic breaths. So as you're breathing, make sure you're not lifting your shoulders, you're not breathing through your chest. I want you to breathe through your chest into your belly, into your diaphragm. So we learn how to maximize, again, that tension. So when things go tough, when things are tough, I'm holding the weight, I can always come back to my breath work. And shake it out a little bit. We're gonna bring the arms up. We're gonna go into some corkscrews. I literally start every workout like this. I have for like 15 years. I'm not gonna stop now, just for the sake of something new. So as you rotate that hip as well. Stand up nice and tall, get into a little bit of extension, and then round. So if all you did today was this exercise, props to you. That's more than 90% of people. So I'm really trying to open up at the top, rotate both arms back to a lot of extension. Good. Been sitting at my computer for a couple hours already today, so there you go. Back and forth. And there you go. Let's get into some rotations. Rotate back and forth here. Just let your arms swing, pivot freely. So if you are on like turf or something, make sure you got some shoes that you can kind of rotate pretty freely. We're going to add in some rotational cleans and a couple other movements. So I just want you to have that ability. And let's do some hinges. So because this is beginner, let's make sure we address this. So stand nice and tall, soft knees, not locked out knees. Drive your hips back. So imagine you're trying to drive your hips back to the of the room. So I'm not just trying to bring my hips back, straight back, and I don't want to bring them down because that's just a squat. I want to pull back and slightly down. So shoulders stay above hips. Knees don't necessarily have to be back. I don't necessarily look for vertical shins, but I just want to try to push my knees back so I'm still getting some quad engagement, but predominantly hamstrings and glutes. Stand up nice and tall and right back. Stand up nice and tall and right back. Pull those shoulders back, breathe through that tension. So as I come up, breathe out. As I come down, breathe in. There we go. And then you don't have to make it so significant. You don't have to use that Valsalva. That's right now. All we need to do is focus on maintaining that tension while breathing through tension. And shake it out. Let's go back to it. We'll go back into those corkscrews. Stand up nice and tall. We'll start off in that extended, externally rotated position, and then come across. So my other arm is going to stay rotated the entire time, externally rotated. My other arm is going to internally rotate. Back. So just bring your thumb in one direction, water out of the towel. I've heard it so many times from so many different people, so don't crucify me if you're like, that was this person in 2006. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Just try to help out the people that help me out. Oh, and back at it. Rotations, back and forth. If you got any KB questions, I'll answer those at the end. We'll go through this circuit a few times, a few different movements. We'll practice it. I like to think, as much as I like, circuits with like 30 on, 30 off and all that, I think those are, I love to take any opportunity I can to make it a little bit educational, go through some different movements, hopefully help you out to enhance your workouts. So whether it's for conditioning purposes or strength purposes or kettlebell or not, just want to make sure that you are getting stronger and getting better. And at the top position, make sure you're not hyperextending the knees and we're not dragging our hips too far. So this is just prepping us for when we get into some deadlifts, some swings. At that top position, glutes engaged, abs engaged, nice vertical position. So I don't want to be here and I don't want to be here. I want to be nice and tall. All right, shake it out. We're going to go one more time through that because it feels way too damn good. That has been my freaking go-to every single morning, doing some kind of mobility. And it could be something simple like this. It could be something like a few light kettlebell exercises. I love light halos. I love shoulder openers, figure eights, all those different things. Just to get some morning movement. Has nothing to do with fasted cardio or fat loss or anything like that. It's purely for getting myself into a better physical and mental state. Shout out to all of you using fitness as therapy. And rotation, back and forth. So we're gonna be going into a full body conditioning circuit. This is geared towards beginners, but I don't want to make it so simple. We're just doing clean, squat, press, blah, blah, blah. Those are all great. We all know how to do that. We'll add a few different things in there that I think are also for beginners as well. All right, so for this hinge, we're gonna do a 3-point hinge. I wanna hinge, just bring my hips back, stand up nice and tall, nips up. I wanna hinge at about 45-degree angle. So if you're looking straight on, about 45-degree, get a little extra stretch through that hip, through that glute, stand nice and tall, other direction, woo! Back and forth. So I really like this one just to get a little bit more out of the hinge and prepare me for when I start adding in rotational work, things like that. Forth and time. All right, check it out. So first movement we're gonna be doing an alternating rotational clean into a press, a Deadstart rotational clean. I thoroughly like this exercise, especially for conditioning purposes, because we're not trying to go too excessively heavy. This is more about movement. This is more about exploration and adding in some rotation in a very safe way. So a lot of rotational work with kettlebells is very advanced, especially if you're doing like two-hand swings or rotational snatches. But what I really like about the Deadstart rotational clean, it actually is fantastic for beginners because it teaches them how to rotate that bell around the forearm. So in all my workshops, I actually like to go into the rotational clean almost first, just that understand that with the kettlebell. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna alternate back and forth with this. I'm gonna start with the bell on the inside of my down. I'm gonna pivot this leg the entire time, just as we were doing with the hinge, shoulders above hips, abs nice and engaged. I'm gonna use two hands though. So as I stand up, I'm gonna crossing this front leg, stand nice and square, right into a press, right back down, straight down on that leg. Because then, guess what? I'm gonna switch. Use two hands, nice and square, back and forth. So let's start this. We're gonna go for about 20 seconds. I know I just said, I know I do 30 on 30. We're going to do 29 seconds. Back. No, we'll go for about 20 seconds here. So it's about control. I don't want to just mindlessly pick up the weight. I want to be intentional with every aspect of this, even the explosive parts of it. We're going to be very intentional with it. Back up, back down, straight down. Keep doing it all. You can absolutely use two hands from the entire, from the first point. So as that comes up, I can literally just grab that bell and put it right into the position that I want. Oh, time. Shake it out. Our rest is going to be about 15 to 20 seconds. I want to keep that burn going. That was like 90s fitness. Keep that burn alive. All right, next one we're going to do alternating rotational halo into a back lunge. So the halo, I'm going to bring it all the way around. I'm going to rotate on that side that I rotate. I'm going to lunge back with that other leg. So I'm going to stay in that rotated position. So to make it more beginner friendly, and then come right back up. Focus on that tension. All right, so turn that pelvis side down. We're going to rotate, bring it all the way across. Opposite leg comes down. Stand up, rotate all the way across that leg. So the way this is going to be more beginner is if you're using a very lightweight and just controlling every part of this. So I think a lot of times, I know a lot of times, especially with my clients who were brand new to kettlebells, brand new to training, we want to make sure we have the fundamentals down, the variables in there, just to make it a little bit more engaging, a little more fun, in my opinion, and a little bit more useful. And right down. So already with that, we're working a lot of different things here. Definitely getting the heart rate up. All right, next one we're going to do an explosive deadlift with only focusing on that rising phase. So as you lift it, I want you to be explosive. I want you to be powerful. As you come down, control, 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 and then repeat. Okay, so we're just going to do an explosive deadlift without leaving the ground, without jumping, without getting a triple extension, just focusing on the lifting phase. So into a hinge here, pull shoulders back, ready, and come right back down under control. Touch the ground, pull, right back down under control. And what I like about this one is this allows my clients to learn how to hip extend, to extend their hips. I was about to say hinge, but we've already hinged. To go from a hinge to extension, to go from a bend to standing up tall explosively while maintaining enough tension and learning how to not hyperextend. So take a breath in, pressurize, breathe in, pressurize. So I'm not letting all my air out, just some of it. And one more. Oh. All right. So we got some lunging, got some pressing. Let's get to the ground. I really like this one to add a little bit more rotation and to put a little bit of pressure on the shoulders. So we'll go from a beginner part, and we'll make it a little bit more difficult. All right, so from here, we'll push up position, make sure wrists are directly into the shoulders. I want you to drive your hips back. Once you've driven your hips back, touch as low as you can. Ideally, your ankle, just come right back to that push-up position. So this will be kind of level 1 here. And this might be too difficult where you can reach that far. So even if you just forward, all I want you to do is get a little bit more tension on one hip. Once you can, add that rotation. Oh man, this one feels good. Back and time. Last one we're going to do a figure 8 to stand. So this is going to, we're going to focus on the switch back and forth. It's going to take a little bit of coordination. So you don't need to go fast with this. If you're in a place where you can't drop the bell, that's totally fine. You don't have to. So you're going to start from a tall position, same position. I'm going to hinge and slightly squat, so more like a kind of right between like a trap bar deadlift. I'm going to switch my hands. I'm going to stand up, let that bell come up. I'm going to switch my hands and then come up, back and forth. All right, so just a figure 8 to stand. So it's not explosive. I don't have to worry about dropping the bell. And then we'll talk about it. There you go. Pull those shoulders back. Abs engaged. Slow it down even a little bit more to make it a little bit more challenging. And time. Oh. So what I love about that exercise, now you can rest. What I love about that exercise is it teaches you how to maintain tension as that weight is shifting around your body. So as the weight comes around to the side, of course, the heavier you go, the more extreme it's going to feel, but you're going to start to feel even more through your stabilizers, through your obliques. I'm not saying you have to make everything core-centric or stabilizer-friendly or focused, but I really like that focus where as you're coming around to one side, the heavier you get with that, super challenging. Siri has been an absolute, I don't know what, I don't even say anything and it triggers her or him or whatever it is. So as I come around, I want to maintain that tension. So I'm feeling that tension throughout my entire leg. So through the stabilizers of my ankle, my knees, my hips, my lower back, everything has to engage. So the faster I go, the more I'm going to have to focus and create that intention. And then even the slower I go with heavy enough weight, that's going to create a lot of tension. So try that one. If you get anything from this, try that exercise through one of your next primers or workouts. Figure 8s to infinity. There you go. I got to get better at naming exercises. I used to be terrible at naming workouts. Like, all right, beginner, kettlebell, something. Gotta keep it flashing sometimes. All right, let's go back into it. So rotational clean. So now go a little bit more or faster through it. A little less jibber jabber. Not too much though, because I like the jibber jabber. So alternating rotational clean to press, down, straight down. So notice how even with the explosive aspect of clean, I'm still under a lot of control. So I'm keeping that tension. Back and forth. My timer is in the car, so I'm using an analog clock. Pilgrim. Back and forth. There we go. And time. Check it out. We're going to go into the alternating rotational halos with the lunge. If you're feeling excessive pressure on the lower back, what do we do, class? Double down that tension through that front side. Double down that tension through your glutes. Entire pelvic floor. That will help create stability, create stability. All right, alternate rotational halos. Right, set, go. Unnecessary intensity. All right, back and forth here. Nice and controlled. I love the halos as a way to open up the shoulders. Get that thoracic extension, upper back thoracic extension. Make sure that you're not swinging the weights around. So use a light enough weight that you can control every bit of that. There you go. If the rotation is too difficult, just go right into an alternating halo to lunge. It's all good. You want to add a little bit more intensity, don't let the knee touch, come right back up. You want to add a little bit more intensity, add a pause right before you touch, and then come right back up. Shake it out. That was ejercicio numero dos. Like I said, if you got any questions, feel free to drop them down. And at the end of this, talk about it, anything you liked, any takeaways you might have had. All right, so we're going to go back into those explosive deadlifts. I'll be a little bit more explosive on the down part. So not just on the lift, but also on the lower. So I'm going to pause at the bottom, pause at the top, a little bit more speed on both sides. Ready? So what I like about this is this helps my client understand how to decelerate quickly, loading the hamstrings and glutes, how to accelerate quickly, engaging the hamstrings and glutes, while all keeping the lower back safe. And a light weight will go very far with this. It helps me cue standing nice and tall, because they can get to that tall position. They're not hyperextending the knees, they're not hyperextending the hips. Get to that low position. We're not going shoulders below hips. Oh my God. Now, even with a lightweight, that is sweat inducing. So before I have mass, all too often, and I see this every time I go to a conventional gym, I see people grabbing a weight. Clearly they just saw a video and they're like, all right, kettlebell swings, easy, grab the weight, swing. And then they just start going at it. And you know, if you've had that experience, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. When you've been at a gym, seen someone just grab a kettlebell and they're just like, I got this. I love swings. Swings are awesome. I like how I feel it right in my L4, L5. All right, right back into down dog. Into the push-up. So this time we're going to add a push-up in here, make it a little bit more dynamic. So from here, I'm going to touch as I come down right into a push-up. So the goal is not to stop. So as I get into position, I lower. As I get into that top position, I hinge. So this becomes almost like some loaded mobility. There we go. I don't know about you, but just doing a bunch of push-ups just gets kind of boring. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love calisthenics, but it's like, you get to a point where what are you gonna do? 100 sets of 100? Multiple sets of 100? Like, oh, I don't got time for that. I mean, I do have time for that, I just choose not to. All right, let's go back to the figure eight to stand. This time we're gonna add a little bit more speed. Just a little. Oh man. So far, which one's your favorite exercise so far? I'd love for you to let me know. So if you're doing this and you're starting to feel a little wonky, you're starting to move around a little bit, just slow it down. You can always slow it down. We can even make it more intense by shifting our weight over to the side while maintaining that tension through our abdominals. It's very hard to keep that tension, breathe through that tension, and talk through that tension. But I'll try. Oh man. If you're old school enough, you remember what's his name? Anthony DeLilio. He had a program. I remember I got a program from him back in 2005, maybe, where one of his workouts, I think it was like 100 figure eight to cleans, or whatever he called them, slingshots. And he did like 100 sets of it, 100 reps of it with like a light weight. I still remember that. Those were the burners. Man, if you've done kettlebells for a while, what was your first kettlebell program? What was the first one that you started and you tried? And then follow-up question, if you've done kettlebells, what got you into kettlebells? Who got you into kettlebells? For me, it was Mr. Mike Mahler. Mike Mahler, man, he was a RKC something senior, I forgot what they called it. But back in, we're reading an article from him, I think it was T-Nation, for like how to use kettlebells. I'm like, the hell I'm gonna spend that kind of money on a kettlebell on some weight I've never seen before? And then I was like, all right, this is actually pretty legit. I like it. All right, last set. So tell me, what was your favorite? Here's your first kettlebell program that you have done. We're on the last set here of our full body conditioning, starting off with the rotational, Deadstart rotational, two-hand clean to press. If the weight is too heavy to press, you can go into a push press or a jerk, or you can simply just bring it up to the rack position, hold it there for a second, and then come right back down. We're going for 20 seconds. That's 10. And you know you're doing it properly if you start to cramp. Your abs are just starting to cramp. No sound. That's awesome. Always something. Nick, bro. I hope that, maybe that means nice. Appreciate it. So yeah, what got you into kettlebells? If you're into kettlebells, what got you into kettlebells? All right, alternating rotational halo. Nice and controlled into that back lunge. Slow it down. If you are brand new to this, just the halo to the back lunge. If you got a little bit more juice in you, add that rotation, touch the ground. If you got a little bit more, don't let the knee touch the ground, add a pause. Oh. This is some conditioning. And oh. All right, next up we're gonna do explosive deadlift. We're not gonna leave the ground and we're not gonna pause. We're going up, down as fast as we can for 20 seconds. All right, so the only time I want you to slow it down is if you are feeling too much pressure on your lower back. Double down that tension, slow it down, pause the top, pause the bottom, whatever you got to do. All right, ready, set, and go. Ah! Oh my gosh, 5 seconds. Keep that tension. 10 seconds. Almost there. Ah! Oh yeah, it's only a 35-pound bell. So if you can do that explosively and safely, and you're not feeling too much on your lower back, then you're absolutely ready for some swings. But until then, I want to make sure you've at least got the explosive deadlifts down. All right, we're almost finished. Back in the down dog, into the push-up. Ready, and go. So now we're just going to speed it up a little bit more. Maintaining control. I can always slow it down. I can always omit the push-up. So make it work for you. But I really like this one. Feels really good, especially after the workout. One more. And time. Check it out. Last one, figure eight stand. So like this 20-minute workout, get your heart rate up. Only requires a light bell or two. If you got a whole rack, fantastic. You can do that. All right. Right. Last one, set and go. So speed it up just a little bit. So still focusing, tension, standing up tall. Squeezing my glutes. Squeeze my abs. Squeeze my lats. And oh, all right. High freaking fives. Hopefully you felt as good as I did with that. Love all the waves, love all thumbs up. See if there's any questions. I'll stay on for a few more minutes if you have any questions. So when it comes to my conditioning workouts, I've really scaled back from doing a lot of conditioning workouts outside of maybe a day of sprints, one or two, workouts like this, and then just lots of walking. I want you to really focus on building strength, trying to get more from your kettlebells as opposed to just trying to do a lot with your kettlebells. I think that's a common mistake with kettlebells, circular mobility, where people want to do like, all right, I'm going to do 1,000 swings or 1,000 snatches. Outside of kettlebell sport, it's just like, I just want to do a lot of something. I want you to focus on what it is that is going to enhance your physique, your athleticism. Maybe it is doing 1,000 swings. I don't know. But I also know that in creating some balance in your training, you're going to go a lot further. Focusing on strength, you're going to go a lot further. I know in my earlier KB years, man, it was all about complexes and high rep sets, and lots of volume, lots of reps, lots of ballistic stuff. And I just felt worn out. And it definitely didn't help in building strength. Definitely didn't help in hypertrophy, even though that wasn't really my goal. But it was, I wanted to get better at tennis. I wanted to move better. I wanted to feel good. I think we all kind of got in that marketing of kettlebells. It's like, it's the portable gym. Take it, you just do a bunch of stuff with it. You still got to be smart with your training. You still have to focus on progressive overload. You still have to focus on doing more than you did, not necessarily every single time, but at least every single week you need to be seeing progress. And what that progress means to you is a totally subjective thing. But social media does a good job of like, oh no, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. It's like, at the end of the day, man, I don't got time for that either. I do what I want to do. Shake it out, bring one arm across, pull your shoulder down. So at the end of kettlebell workouts, definitely the two areas that I make sure I stretch as being the most important for me, especially kettlebells because they're so unique to this, is I really focus on wrists and elbows, and I focus on neck and traps. So whether you do this on the ground or against a wall, really focus on your wrist flexibility. That will make sure your elbows stay nice and safe, and then in turn up the kinetic chain, that'll make sure your shoulders stay a lot better. Of course, you can still focus on some shoulder work as well. But this is where most people, myself included, especially when I got started with kettlebells, you start to get that tendonitis through the elbow because you're not used to A, holding a weight in this position, or B, doing so much pulling, so much elbow flexion. So you do cleans, you do snatches, you do all these different movements. So if you don't stretch it out, or at least do some kind of mobilization, then, or some kind of SMR on your forearms or anything like that, that will turn into tendonitis, that will turn into shoulder issues. So spend some time, give your wrists some love. After your workouts. And next one, drop your right arm, try to point to the ground, bring that trap or shoulder down as low as you can. With your left hand, grab your side of your head, gently pull. So I'm pulling away and I'm dropping my shoulder down. I'm just gonna hold it here. And again, shoulders, especially upper back and traps, just because rarely do we use, or rarely in training outside of deadlifts and shrugs, if people are doing that, do you do a lot of pulling with your in that vertical pulling position. So you're doing cleans and snatches, putting a lot of tension on your upper traps, and that turns into definitely tight necks, tight traps, tight shoulders. And shake it out. Awesome. Hope you enjoyed. I hope there was sound and it wasn't just you that was having sound. Fitness time. There you go. Hopefully you all enjoyed. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have anything at all, I don't know what that means, dollar signs. Go through and see if there's any questions in here. Could you show scorpion flip? Absolutely. It's craziest thing. It's just, I just did a bunch of sets of scorpion flips. So, actually don't know what the scorpion flip is. Is that a thing? Is that like a kettlebell thing? Or is that just like, like jumping? Based on your profile, it looks like something jumping. Oh, man. So for a couple more minutes, if you have any questions, but my goal with my training is to give you some ideas on how you could enhance your kettlebell training, how you can build a stronger, I say athletic, and I use athletic marketing, but ultimately it's like you got to just performance-wise. What does performance mean for you? Does it mean playing with your kids? Does it mean playing a sport? Does it mean just moving pain-free? So whatever that means for you, hopefully these workouts will help. They have helped me tremendously. They've helped a lot of people over the years, quite a bit. So let's start with the basics. You can do movements like what we did today in very safe, kind of these compact workouts where you're not doing a lot of reps, you're not using a lot of weight, but just to challenge you in different positions. But I think what has kind of come and gone is the focus on, these 4 different movements and you've got to focus on that. Like, no, I had clients where the first couple workouts, we were doing snatches. I had clients where years later, we were never doing snatches. So there was clients that I never had do swings. There was clients that we only did. So there's so many variables for your clients, yourself. Don't get stuck into one way. The last thing I'll leave you with is just focus, just become the expert on you. You can get a lot of information, a lot of expertise from coaches and pros, but ultimately you have to be the expert on you. You have to decide, all right, I really like these exercises. I hate these exercises. Why do I hate these exercises? Do they feel good? Am I doing them properly? I really love that process because that's just going to take your training to a whole new level. Rather than thinking of things in 4 weeks and 6 weeks and 12 weeks and getting ripped or anything like that, I want you to focus on moving better, getting stronger. You will feel awesome, and because you feel awesome, you're going to keep up with it. You're going to keep doing it. So that's my bit of wisdom to you. I got so much more based on the errors that I've made over the years. I made a lot of errors. But we'll see. Any other questions? Otherwise, we will leave with that. It was great. So much fun. Awesome, Michelle. Appreciate that. And if you're watching this in the future, let me know where you're from and what your favorite movement was. I love hearing that. And I get it. There's a lot of stuff out there. I try to balance progressive overload, strength-based workouts with a bit of variety, a bit of fun, a bit of uniqueness. So that way there's like a freshness to it where it feels fun. It feels a little bit more engaging. I think there's the two extremes. There's the people that's like, you only do this and that's it. And that's all you need. And then there's the people that's like, hey man, I just want to do, flips and flows all the time. And that's fine. Whichever one. If you feel like you're getting benefit, then awesome. You keep doing it. But if you're brand new to it, try to balance things out a little bit. Get some strength, get some focus on that, and all things will get better. All right. That's all I got. Hopefully you enjoyed. And I'm not sure who's on tomorrow or this week, but make sure you check out the awesome coaches here on Kettlebell Kings. All right. I know just stay quiet here for a second. So hopefully you all enjoyed. And if you have any questions, shoot them down below. And I will be glad to help you out in the future. So, all right. I will see you on the next one.